had a website, but it wasn't, it was almost like a vanity project back then. Now it is like an entrance fee to have a business.
Good. Hey, I wanted to let you know that the Google guarantee, the Google ads, man, I'm getting 12 to 16 calls a week.
My goal is at least do 10 to 15 more years, grow it up, sell it for 40, 50 million, maybe more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Titan Talks. My name is Jonathan Stern. I'm an engineer at Topline Pro, but once a week, I have the honor of sitting down with successful home service entrepreneurs to discuss their journeys to success. Today is September 1st, 2023, and my guest is Stacey Conkle, owner of two cleaning businesses, Cozy Cabin Cleaning, a vacation cleaning service, and A Beautiful Day Cleaning, a professional house cleaning and maid service. Both operate in and around Northwest Arkansas. Stacey previously used a number of different marketing services to help grow her business, but recently she has consolidated everything to Topline Pro. We're thrilled to be able to have her on to hear more about her two businesses and to discuss some of her thoughts and vision around the future of the home services. Stacey, thank you so much for taking the time. Welcome to Titan Talks.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I'd love to start with an origin story. Tell us, how'd you decide to become an entrepreneur in the cleaning business?
Right. Like many people, I guess, to some degree, it was by chance. Cleaning, I hadn't necessarily had that on my radar. It wasn't a big dream of mine, but through previous employment, I was introduced to that, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, running the team, and then through that as well, my experience there, I saw that there was a pretty big need. There's a hole in the community for. I started with vacation rentals. There just wasn't a cleaning company that catered to it specifically because it is kind of its own. It's a different animal. And then over time, that is what brought me into starting residential as well. But I just chose to make them separate businesses because they run very differently.
You mentioned that your previous job sort of led into cleaning nicely. What was it that you were doing before?
Property management for short-term rentals. So I ran the operations, which included overseeing the housekeeping division.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's how you got started with vacation.
Right.
This was your first business.
That's right.
Tell us, how did you make the move from Cozy Cabin to A Beautiful Day, and or decide that you needed one more business? Right.
So after about 2 years in, Cozy Cabin is doing well. It still is. It was doing well. But what I was noticing is that it wasn't, it's not a business that I want to scale at large, right? So something that's going to really fund my retirement, or if I did, I'd be, I'd have lost all my hair. It's just, it's a whole different thing. It's kind of chaotic. The schedule's nuts. Anyways, so, and it really doesn't, what's that?
The market in vacation rentals is smaller, or is it something else that it wasn't going to be the big thing?
It's the operation. For me, the way I have that business set up, it's really just the operations piece, because the schedule for vacation rentals, people's vacations, it's very, it tells you when you're scheduling, as opposed to it kind of runs us rather than the other way around. So at least the way I have it set up, which is to be on demand. So that was the appeal. That is the appeal of the business, but it also puts a lot of constraints on, on growth and stress, really, So with that, it was like, okay, I actually ended up hiring a coach to kind of help me work through this. How do I change? What do I need to change, and what should I be doing in order to scale this? But with that, we just decided, really, I need to look into, another arm of the cleaning industry. And that's when we just started to go into residential. But instead of adding residential to that company, because it's set up so specifically, I just started a separate company instead. So cue a beautiful day cleaning.
Being a business owner, something that you always saw yourself doing? Are there family and friends who do this? What is it about your nature that's well suited to taking on not just one but two businesses?
Right. It is something that's in my nature. What is it about it? I don't entirely know the answer to that. What makes people crazy enough to do this? I don't know. It's definitely, it's got to be in our blood, I guess. But I I I enjoy being able to put my ideas, to test, I guess. I like being in charge. I've just always thought about things that I could be doing, like business ideas. It's just always there, right? And I've tried in the past and failed or not taken it far enough, and you kind of learn a little bit more each time. And this time, it's stuck and it's working, and maybe it's a maturity thing. Just the stars aligned in life. I'm not entirely sure, but it's working.
Well, I'm glad it's working. I imagine in the early days it was a little more bumpy for a little while. What's one thing you did to get the business off the ground?
Yes. Listen, it's still bumpy. I'm not gonna lie. We have a couple of weeks. It's a roller coaster, right?
Sure.
But to get it off, I think the biggest thing when I first started with Cozy Cabin, and I didn't know what to expect yet. Still don't know what to expect sometimes, but it's relying on your network of people, just friends, acquaintances, family, right? So I just started spreading the word about what I was doing, and people who know you and respect you and trust you help, right? They share what you're doing. They recommend you, and then it slowly but surely starts to take off. It's kind of a snowball effect, right? As long as you continue to deliver properly, and that's what we did. Cozy Cabin is an excellent concept. It serves the community very well. Not so much myself and the staff, which is why we needed to change things, but it worked. And then once you're known, you've built a reputation to some degree, you can do a little bit more, a little faster, right? And so that's what we're doing now with Beautiful Day Cleaning. We still have a ways to go, but it's a little bit different experience on building this side than the first time around from scratch.
Before you're known, how do you get known? What's the process from going from unknown to known?
Yeah, getting out there and doing it, right? So starting with letting people know what you're doing, so people have to know. Somebody had said something to me once, something like, because how we always hear, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Well, someone had said it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And if that isn't true, right? So I had to make sure people knew what I was doing, and then I had to get out there and actually do it, right? And so it's just building a good reputation, so that word of mouth, as well as marketing. I didn't really have to do a whole lot of marketing with Cozy Cabin. I am doing more marketing with A Beautiful Day because I want it to go faster, and we're hitting. It's a much more saturated market too. But so starting with getting the word out there, starting with just doing the work. Building the reputation. It's really just overall, though, it's a matter of time, and you have to be consistent and continue to put the work in consistently, and over time it will, again, the snowball effect, it will build, right? If you're doing things right. As far as the work,
I know they're
quality work.
I know they're different businesses, but what has been transferable from Cozy Cabin to A Beautiful Day Cleaning? One thing that you didn't know when you founded Cozy Cabin that you've been able to take with you and as you're building a beautiful day?
Yeah. What has I transferred and is the same no matter what, is just taking care of people. And that's on both sides of the equation. So your clientele, you've got to deliver, right? And I'm not about cutting corners. Quality is important, but so is operations just as much so. So, a lot of people can clean houses really well, but the other half of that is consistency in how you deliver and expectations. And so that transfers over, I think, into any business. And so that's transferred over into starting up A Beautiful Day as well. So I know that We want to make sure that we're setting ourselves, we are setting ourselves up for a service that we know we can deliver on the promises, and that people, when we tell them we're going to do something, we can. They know when we're coming. There's no, they're not chasing us. Like I'm very much a no BS kind of operations person. I want to make sure that when someone hands their money over to us, that they don't have to think about it again. We're going to take it from here, and it's taken care of, and it's done well, it's done right, and that they can honestly tell anybody to call us and hire us and spend the money with us because their experience has been that good. So I'd say that's easily transferred over between the two, and it would apply to any business, really.
Would love to turn to business today and hear a little bit about how it's going. Tell us, how many employees do you have and how many jobs on the schedule?
Yes. So we have 4 employees with Cozy Cabin. I have 2 with The Beautiful Day. And how many jobs on the calendar is what you're saying?
Yeah. Could I book you in 2 weeks, or are you fully booked out? Yeah. How are things?
Right.
Looking?
Yeah. So, and that varies a little bit, right? So, we sometimes can fit things in same week, depends on the size of the job, really. But we're usually about a week out for larger projects. Cleaning, it can be anywhere from a couple of hours to like 10 hours, or I guess it'd be more like 5 hours with multiple people, but the job span. So it just depends. But we have something going every day of the week now between the 2 companies, especially. So we have a ways to go. We're just in the first year of A Beautiful Day Cleaning. I have much loftier goals, so this is going to be years in the making. But we're off to a good start, and what's nice is we've just hit the first. This year has been very up and down, so uncomfortable, completely uncomfortable, but we've just started to hit like a nice consistent growth mode month after month. So I'm happy to see that. I'm still have heart attacks sometimes, but
well, that's to be expected. And
yeah.
I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Right.
How are you getting most of those jobs? Specifically with A Beautiful Day, I know it's or is it word of mouth? Is it referrals? Is it the website? What's the mix?
So the vast majority right now is still coming in through our website, through online. So our website and through Google. We do a lot of advertising with Google, but we get a lot of great leads through our website, which is awesome. And that's something that we get a lot of great leads through our website with Cozy Cabin too, because we have our website with Topline for both companies. Wow. It's so simple, so easy. And then people are finding us, which is great. So leads through the website and leads through Google are our top. We do have a lot of word of mouth, but we're just still getting more leads through the web.
And I noted earlier on that your approach to marketing and your approach to getting the word out has shifted a bit. You used to have several services and you've consolidated.
Yes. Okay. So I can't wait to tell you about this.
What's the idea behind that one?
Yeah. So, all right. So I started Cozy Cabin with Topline, and word of mouth, and it just, because there was a strong need there, right? And we did a good job. It just kind of took off. Didn't really have to market or advertise. So I started myself in the field, just very grassroots. Well, once I got to the point where I wanted to start A Beautiful Day, I really just wanted to hit the ground like running really fast, and I had this, and I had some money that time. So I had this idea that I'm just going to take a big chunk of money and I'm going to spend it on, a fancy website and blogging and a lot of money on marketing and paying people to do social media, because who, not how. I don't want to do everything myself. I know myself, I was not going to be consistent with social media and all that stuff, right? Anyway, now keep in mind that I didn't start with Topline because I didn't realize how far it had come. Like when I was with Topline with Cozy Cabin, it was much more basic. Okay, it didn't have all the features. So anyways, I spend an insane amount of money over the course, because SEO and things and social and all that takes time, right? So you got to give it 6 months to a year. We all hear. And this is not, I worked with some very excellent professionals. Okay, I'm not knocking that, but it was a lot of money. And if I could go back, I would do it differently. So I spent a year just going through a lot of money, going into some debt over it, just trying to grow faster, right? Just go at it hard and fast. Anyways, it got to the point where it's like, I didn't see the return on that money a year in. Okay. We just hit a year. And we're just starting to getting traction. So it's not like nothing came of it, but the amount of money spent with the return that we were getting just wasn't worth it. So anyways, then I noticed that Topline has a whole lot more going on at this point. So I contact Nick and it's like, all right, what are you guys doing over here? You know? And it turns out, yeah, you have social and blogging and there's SEO. I mean, just all the basics. And that's what I already told myself is like, I need to get back to the basics. I just got out of control here, you know? So I switched everything. All that money spent on a WordPress website. I mean, I have it saved, you know, but we just switched over to Topline. It's been smooth, fast. It's simple and to the point. That's all you need. I have control over things, but it's not super time consuming, you know? So now I can do like the blogging or the social myself if I want to. Don't even have to, you know, you can set this up automatically as well. But I love it. It takes very little time. I get all the things done. I have a little more say in it, you know? And nothing has slowed down. In fact, we're just continuing, as I mentioned, to increase in, you know, leads.
I hate to ask about specific price points, but I'm curious how much for these tailored services before Topline Pro.
I'll tell you.
Oh.
I will tell you. All right. So let's say, and it was different people, right? But you know, you're talking about a WordPress website, and this is average was $5,000. We had social. I was paying people to do our social anywhere between 500 to 1,000, 900 something a month. Don't listen. I know it's stupid. Okay. Anyways, and then blogging was several $100s a month when we did that, and then the SEO stuff, you know, you can still do different SEO things on top of Topline, but we were doing a few $100 to $700 a month in SEO as well. So thousands of dollars, as you can now see, as opposed to less than $1,000, you know, a couple $100. It's just a vast difference in expenses, costs I mean, I at this point, Topline is at least just as good, if not better. You know, we have some time to go here, but it makes me sick about all the money spent.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but gosh, you're still in the early stages of this, and you know, good news that you are good news that you're able to switch to something that's only a couple hundred a month,
right,
sooner than later. Question about the all of the lofty goals that you have for yourself and the company over the coming years. First, what are they, and does Topline Pro enable that in a way that the previous services didn't? Like, does it pull forward the vision? And how do those two play into each other?
Yeah, the lofty goals I have are just high revenue. So, you know, like $1 million in revenue, right? Like that's my first lofty goal. So we have a ways to go. There's a lot of, you know, to be done in between there. As far as does Topline play into that? I think it can, especially you guys are continuously updating and bringing more into the site and more capabilities and stuff. So I would imagine, you know, but that's to be determined, I guess, over time. But the truth is that's just everything that's there is really all you need, you know, and good quality product or service, delivering well. And I just imagine if we continue to do that, then we can hit our goals easily. It's really going to become more of an operations puzzle at that point, you know.
How do you get to $1 million in revenue? Are there a few puzzle pieces you could, you don't have to give away all your secrets, but I mean, what are the first steps to getting to $1 million?
just continuing to bring the leads in. So it's two steps here, or two sides to this. I mean, in the most basic sense, right? Is making sure that we're continuing to bring the leads in, winning the sale, delivering well, but also you've got to be able to staff it. That's the other thing too, you know. So, and staffing's not easy, especially in the service industry. So I have to just continue to take care of my staff so that they will help build this company. So every time we bring in a new lead, we can take care of them and not turn them away, right? So it's a balancing act as usual. And then an operations thing. I mean, you've got to run a good operation to not have the wheels fall off somewhere in between there. It's not easy, but I want to get there.
So the lead comes in, and then you start trying to win the sale.
Right.
I'd love to know, when you win a sale, why, and when you lose a sale, what's the most common reason?
Okay, so the most common reason to lose a sale with probably at most services and especially in cleaning is price, and we're not the cheapest in the market by any means. So, but when we win the sale, it's usually I think because of why we're priced where we're at, which is the people that we employ, nationally background checked, you know, bonded. So there's a trust factor there. We are all over the place. I'm out networking. People know me. Our company is becoming more and more trusted because of what we've put out there. You know, everything down to something as simple as being, you know, with the Better Business Bureau, which most people don't even pay attention to anymore. But we're willing to build a company and a business that will, you know, attach itself to these trust factors, so that people, if there's a problem, they know they have somewhere to go and complain about it, right? So being all over the internet, building the trust factor, taking care of your staff, you know, we pay well above average, which then makes the price point a little more difficult because we have to pay for all that, you know. And in order to run a smooth operation that people don't have any trouble with, right? They're not asking, when are you going to be here? Or why didn't you show up? Or, you know, if someone can't be there because they're sick or their car broke down, very common, then we have the staff to make sure someone's there. So we're trying to make sure we're not skipping a beat, right? So that, again, when someone spends their money with us, we've taken it off their plate and they don't have to worry about it again. So most common problem or reason for sale loss is price. But the most common reason we win the sale is because of all the reasons why we price ourselves higher, which is operations and people for the most part.
With repeat customers, what's the reason that they want you back? Is it reliability? Is it the communication? Is it just their sparkling property after you leave? What's
right? Yeah, so definitely the job has to be done well, right? But again, a lot of people can do a good job well. Can they do it over and over and over for years? I don't know, maybe not, but the job's done well. And ease, we make it easy, right? So they call us, we're responsive, it's quick, we get them on the calendar, we get someone out there, you know, ease of transaction, and reliability, and communication is a big one. Specifically, communication's a big one. I'm communicating directly with them pretty frequently after everything. They get reminders, you know. I would say ease. It's very straightforward.
Do you text with the customer, call the customer? Is it email? Is it all of those things?
Yes, email, text, and phone to some degree at any point in sale or in the process, really.
And is it all your personal line, or do you have a big software suite to help you with this?
So right now we're using Open Phone. Okay. So a phone system. Yeah. So not my personal line, it's a business line.
I guess final question about business today. Do you have how many customers currently?
We have 60. Yeah, 59 I think it was yesterday.
And all
for residential, rather.
For resident, and all in the Arkansas northwest Arkansas area. Goals to expand to the entire state, or is that down the line a bit?
Maybe, you know, if that's where it leads us. There's a lot of work here in our little region of Northwest, or it's not really little, our region of Northwest Arkansas. There's a lot here. So what,
Yeah,
what's that?
it is a massive region with.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Bentonville's booming. I mean, the whole area is booming, but yeah, would I expand? Absolutely. It's just not going to be necessary anytime soon. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
At Titan Talks, we like to close with a rapid fire round. Are you ready?
I think so.
What is the biggest mistake you've made since starting Cozy Cabin and A Beautiful Day Cleaning?
The first thing that comes to mind is all that money I spent. But you know, I could be wrong, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. It just wasn't necessary to spend all that money.
What's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
The biggest challenge, I mean, my first response is I want to grow faster, you know, but I'm an impatient person and we're growing steadily, so that's fine. But biggest challenge would be leads, you know, overcoming the price objection. I'm going to go with that.
Is there a most surprising thing about starting a business, about being at the helm of two businesses?
Yes. I don't know why it's surprising, but you just don't realize how much you learn about yourself. Like it is seriously, being an entrepreneur for any period of time is just one of the most incredible personal journeys and learning experiences ever. You know, that and marriage and parenting, like they're all just, there's really something else.
I would love an example. What's the thing that sticks out that you've learned recently?
Yeah, learning. It's just ongoing, but you know, I run on fear, right? So it's interesting how much more comfortable I've become with the unknown. So that's what it is. I'm afraid of the unknown, you know, and there's just so much unknown when you're running a business. You know, you can have a great business plan and know your stuff, and you just still don't know. And there's a lot of fear, you know, it's scary. So anyway, but that over time, you know, you become more and more comfortable with not knowing because you've realized you're still alive today, you know. So that would be a big one.
We have a number of pros listening to this who are just starting out. What's one piece of advice you would offer them?
Know that one piece, oh shoot. So you're not alone, you know, like I think for myself, you know, I don't know about a lot of people, you have a lot of negative self-talk, right? And a lot of times you're like, man, I suck, you know, I'm not doing this right, or anybody else could do this better or whatever. That's not true. We're all feeling the same way. So when you're feeling like you're failing, it's okay. Just keep going.
Just keep going. Good.
Yeah.
And to close, would love to hear what's been your proudest moment so far running these two businesses.
My proudest moment, I'm just going to go with my proudest thing, which is that I have a very stable staff in an industry that is known to provide otherwise, right? Or it's just usually an high turnover industry. But I have a very stable staff. I have people that have been with me from the beginning almost, and they're very important to me, and I do everything I can to take care of them with every ability that I can. So that plays into it, but I'm proud of that. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of myself for creating something that they're willing to stick with. And, you know, right now I've got some ride or dies, I think. So that makes me really happy and proud.
Well, it's been so good to meet you today, Stacey. Congratulations on your success so far.
Thank you.
I know it's a big road ahead and a long road. Yeah. We'll certainly be rooting for you and following along. And gosh, yeah, it was so good to meet you. Thanks for being a part of Titan Talks.
Thank you. Thank you.